Hello and welcome to the Reykjavik News Desk. I'm Andy Sophia Fontaine, and these are the weekend's top stories in Iceland. If you like the content that you see here, be sure and like and subscribe. And if you really like the content that you see here, check out the Patreon link in the description below to see what kind of goodies you can get just by kicking a little extra coin our way. But now, the weekend's top stories. As a follow-up to my previous video about whaling, it turns out that hunting fin whales has probably never been profitable, and it's now looking less likely than ever that fin whaling will continue after this hunting season. An independent accounting firm has gone over the books of Hvalur HF, which is Iceland's only fin whaling company, and they found that from 2012 to 2020, this company actually lost 3 billion ISK. In fact, the only thing that keeps this company afloat is that it's a shareholder in other companies. Minister of Fisheries Svandís Svavarsdóttir, who has said that despite revelations from the Food and Veterinary Authority that Hvalur's hunting practices are probably violating Iceland's regulations on whale hunting, Svandís has said that she will not be revoking Hvalur's hunting license, however, has strongly implied that she probably will not renew the permit, which is due to expire this year. She has now said that it would take a very, very strong argument to convince her to renew the whale hunting permit. As I also previously reported, most Icelanders polled believe that this one company hunting fin whales is hurting Iceland's reputation. Jóhannes Þór Skúlason, who is the chair of the Icelandic Tourist Board, agrees that this fin whale hunting hurts Iceland's reputation. But Þórdís Kolbrún Reykfjörð Gylfadóttir, who is the Minister of Foreign Affairs, has said that they are not going to let tourists decide what industries Iceland engages in, which is kind of a weird thing to say because it implies that only tourists care about Iceland hunting fin whales, despite that poll that I previously mentioned. So, all this being said, we may be looking at the last fin whale hunting season in Iceland, which, as I said in my previous video, is only being conducted by one company. Fin whaling does not have deep historical roots in Iceland. It is not a rich cultural tradition. Most Icelanders have never even tasted whale meat, and most Icelanders believe that it's hurting the country's reputation. So, make of that what you will. A dramatic rescue occurred on the Vatnajökull Glacier over the weekend. A group of cross-country skiers contacted rescue authorities after one of the people in their group received a head injury after being struck in the head by a sled that she was pulling. Some 150 rescuers rushed to the area, and while it took them some time to find the party, they did locate them at last, and the injured woman in question was rushed to receive medical attention. All this is a reminder that while Iceland's glaciers are indeed beautiful, they can also be very treacherous places to go, even in the best of weather conditions, and accidents can happen even when everybody does everything right, which was the case here. So, as with most other things in Iceland, explore at your own risk. The natural stone bridge, which used to span over Flögufoss waterfall in East Iceland, has collapsed. Now, this bridge was formed only about 30 years ago, and it has been one of Iceland's lesser-known attractions ever since then. But it's believed that early rains in April contributed to it eventually falling apart. Be that as it may, the waterfall is still an incredible sight to visit, and I've linked to an article below on the site itself. As with many places in East Iceland, it is just absolutely breathtaking and stunning to visit. Personally, I find East Iceland to be the most beautiful part of the country, and so if you ever get a chance, do explore the region in general, and Flögufoss in particular. It's very pretty. Plans to open a new seal pool at Reykjavik's zoo have been put on ice. Technically called the Reykjavik Family Park and Zoo, the reason why I put zoo in scare quotes is because it's not the type of zoo where you might see tigers or giraffes or monkeys. Rather, it's a lot of domesticated animals like cows and pigs and chickens, as well as some of Icelandic wildlife such as Arctic foxes and seals. Expanding the seal pool's size has been in the works for some time now, but Reykjavik City Council has opted to put the construction on ice for the time being. There's no word yet on when it's going to resume. So, fun side note here, one of Reykjavik's former mayors, comedian and writer Jón Gnarr, once wanted to have a polar bear in this zoo. Now, While polar bears are not native to Iceland, they do occasionally wash up here on our shores, and they are almost always, every single time, hunted down and shot and killed when that happens. And Jungnar thought it would be more humane to tranquilizer dart a polar bear when it washes up here and put it in our zoo. And for some reason, this idea never caught on. Finally, a deaf sheep has some 270,000 Instagram followers. The sheep in question is named Sunna, and you might be familiar with Sunna if you follow the Instagram account Farm Life Iceland. If you don't follow this Instagram account, I've linked to it in the description, and I highly recommend that you follow this Instagram account because it is the most wholesome, adorable, and heartwarming account on the entirety of Instagram, objectively. So do check them out and give them a follow, not just for Sunna, but just to see a sheep farm in Iceland in action. It's really fun stuff. Stay tuned for the Weird Moments in Icelandic History video, which will be coming up this Friday. It's my patrons who decide the subjects of my single topic videos, so bear that in mind if there's a particular subject about Iceland that you really want to see me cover. That's all for me today at News Desk, so as always, be sure and like and subscribe, and if you really like the content that you see here, check out the Patreon link in the description below, which reminds me, I want to thank Corinne Vasquez, Marianne Ward, Christopher Hunter, Marion Moores, Kimberly McDaniel, and Iceman98 for being patrons on the $20 level, Laura Johnson for being a patron on the $15 level, and Stephen Ellis and Vivi Carvajal Schaffner for being patrons on the $10 level. You folks rock. That's all from me. Be good to each other.